the March 2014 edition of Inside Rice University. Today, we're high above Houston, on top of Rice's Bioscience Research Collaborative, also known as the BRC. This viewpoint overlooks the 300 acres that make up the Rice campus. Let's start with what's making news at the BRC. Rice researchers and students have been busy creating everything from 3D bioprinting to a mosaic of Nelson Mandela made entirely of Rubik's Cubes.
We had this crazy idea. We want to 3D print sugar in the shape of blood vasculature. And we tried to work with a couple commercial companies, but it was hard to get any sort of communication back and forth with them. So we turned to the maker community, and when we had this crazy idea, we pitched it to the maker community, hey, we need help to do this. Everyone said, yeah, we're really excited to help you, we'll figure this out. We don't fully understand what you're gonna use to do that, but we'll figure it out together.
The maker community is consisted of people that are just creatives, more or less. I know it's a very vague concept, but one of the big things that I've noticed about the maker community is the whole idea of retooling or repurposing.
As through 3D printing as an abstract tool, people are just figuring out what to do with it, and we're exploring familiar territory first. But I think that as the novelty wears off, people are going to really explore new frontiers and really find new applications for this fundamental idea of putting material where you want it, in any form, in any geometry you need.
So we were looking at actually a way to formalize that interaction. It turns out that the scientist and the maker and someone in the DIY bio community, all of us are actually fundamentally seeking knowledge. And this has been the unifying factor between these collaborations. So we were looking at a way to formalize that interaction. And that's how we came up with the Advanced Manufacturing Research Institute, is a way to formally bring together scientists, people from the maker community, people from the DIY bio community, and have us really learn from each other under focused constraints of time, funding, and really defined projects.
So what I'm really interested in is being able to print genetically engineered cells.
What we have this summer, we had 4 fellows come to Rice and work with us in the lab. So one was an undergraduate here at Rice already, and the other 3 came from other places.
Pretty much the moment he started even thinking about Rice, I just immediately told him, like, I'm in. Like, whatever you're doing, I'm sold.
The ideal goal for an Amory Fellowship is a breakthrough mentorship, sponsorship, and infrastructure to allow makers to come in and build new equipment that we can then use for science. And this has been a fantastic success this year, with these 4 fellows coming in and building a bunch of equipment, characterizing it, measuring things, reporting back to the community, posting all their designs, all their investigations back online for people to evaluate.
You spend most of your time printing out, really impractical things, and yet here you have the opportunity to really break some new ground on creating organs, probably the most practical things.
It's very satisfying to exercise a tool, as powerful and sophisticated as 3D printing, to exercise that tool on a very pressing, relevant problem. Granted, people do need iPhone cases, but people also need kidneys a lot more.
The cyst was in several places throughout the jawbone and in eating holes in several places. So at any time I could have been bumped or hit or whatever, my jawbone would have just cracked like an eggshell. When you hear things like that, you really don't hear everything. You hear, okay, they're taking my jaw out.
Oh, good. So this is really healed very nicely. Every now and again, you do have a patient whose result is excellent, in some respects, surpasses anything that you would normally do, and Mr. Bowman is a good example of that. All right, that feels pretty comfortable over there. We reconstructed the jaw joint with a rib, and we reconstructed the remaining part of the jaw with bone, from his hip. We were able to do all of that using some of the space maintainer technology that had been developed as part of the A-Firm project itself. And because the space maintainer did its job so well in holding the space open, we managed to get in a very, very nice bone graft that absolutely fit the defect perfectly. And I think you saw the result today. Somebody who has, both aesthetically and functionally, very, very good result.
We're very excited about this project within FIELDHOUSE. This project is a true collaborative project and involves collaborations between Rice bioengineers with clinicians at the University of Texas Health Science Center and MD Anderson Cancer Center. Also, some of the students who are part of the firm are MD PhD students of the Baylor College of Medicine MD PhD project. So essentially there are people from every single institution in the Texas Medical Center being part of a firm.
For me personally, one of the most gratifying aspects of this project is that it develops and translates a technology that can recapitulate the aesthetics that may have been lost in a devastating craniofacial injury, regardless of the cause. As our face is the window through which we interact with our world, anything that is not normal with our normal facial contours can have devastating consequences. So using a technology that can maintain the space of bone that may have been lost or damaged and recapitulate the pre-injury aesthetics has tremendous positive implications for the patient and their friends and family.
You look normal. Nobody can tell that I had the surgery because of the technology they used.
We're the Cube Club from the Rice Jones Graduate School of Business.
This is a good cube.
I got online and requested cubes from youcandothecube.com, requested 600, and they actually approved it. So in talking to Rice Public Art folks, we came up with the idea to do the Nelson Mandela mosaic to be on display for all of February, Black History Month. Each cube face has 9 stickers, and I'm dealing with 600 cubes. I've got 5,400 pixels to deal with. So I created a 60 by 90 image and work within those pixels.
We have to kind of look at these pictures, we have on our laptops and try to make the cube line up with those different colors. And to do that, you kind of have to be able to separate in your mind different areas of the colors without getting confused by the neighboring colors.
This is one that's done, right? And it doesn't look like it solves cube, right? So I keep redoing them and I keep doing the same one twice, and then
I don't even know which one I just put a dot on. I think it was C4. Anybody doing C4? Did a lot more time planning this project than actually executing it. So with proper planning, it's making this you can tell it's pretty quiet in here. It's not very chaotic. And our timeline really is from 8 a.m. this morning until noon. We should be finished. At this rate, we might be done by 11. So this could be a 3-hour cubing project, and then take us maybe half an hour to move them downstairs and put them on the wall.
It's an unusual thing for an MBA program to have a cube club, I think. It's not really your normal MBA activity, but in a way it sort of goes to a lot of the principles that we learn as MBA students in terms of organization and teamwork and team building and all of that.
First of all, I'm thrilled with the way that this turned out. It's a good example of what the graduate students are capable of, and how we're able to use this facility and Rice Public Art to make exciting things happen. So I hope this gives people something to enjoy and reflect on during Black History Month.
At the forefront of education stands a small school with a big story. One of pioneers, leaders, and entrepreneurs, of Oscars, Pulitzers, and Nobel Prizes. A story of the world's most brilliant minds working together to challenge convention, making discoveries that will change the course of history, and innovations that will change everything. Rice University, advancing the world with unconventional wisdom.
Welcome back to Inside Rice University. From up here, you get the best view on campus of Reckling Park. This year, the Owls are looking to build on 18 straight conference titles. All of those titles have been under the leadership of Coach Wayne Graham, who just reached a historic milestone at Rice.
I made my living the off-season at a time when we were hurting for money by doing drafting, and I've always liked to do things with my hands, precision things with my hands, whether it be chip carving or making leather belts or anything. And this is just kind of a ode to the way I made my living before. And it's an ode also to the fact that the hardest thing for me in professional baseball was to get in the lineup and stay in the lineup. And so I regard the lineup as sacred, so why not make it look very good? I think about things, not saying that's the best way to think about things, but as my engineering mathematics teacher at Texas said, it may not be the best way, but it is a way to do the problem. Never forget that guy, he flunked 50 out of 70. I'm gonna try to concentrate so I don't have to waste 16 lineup cards to get a good one for this game. But I like the finished product to be prideful, like a drawing.
For him to get his 1000th victory here at Rice would be really special, and we're just looking forward to it. He's a great guy, great coach, and a great mentor to these young men. He's proven that Rice can compete with anybody. I mean, I was out at Stanford last week. Stanford's won 105 national championships in athletics, and we took the series from them in baseball, and that's what we want to model with the rest of our coaches, and Wayne's already proven that it can be done.
The 0-1 pitch, and Williamson swings, launches it into right. This will drop. Base hit. Coming around third. Keenan Cook will score, and there's win number 1,000 in Wayne Graham's career. Wayne Graham, win number 1,000 of his illustrious career, coming at just the right time.
It was a great game for us to come back after hitting poorly early and giving up a couple runs. We were proud of our defense, and it wasn't there in the first inning, but when you reflect about 1,000 win, you reflect about the people that help you get it. Whether it be my wife, who has been there for everything, or the great players we've had over time, and the fact that Rice gave me an opportunity when nobody else would. So it's a privilege to coach here, and to get 1,000 wins here was kind of outlandish in a way, considering I started when I was 55. But I'll take it. I'll really take it.
I couldn't be more happy, more blessed to play for a guy like Coach Graham. Always dreamed I could do it, and to get the opportunity, it's incredible. These 4 years have been a great experience, and I'm looking forward to this last year.
He's instilled a lot of hard work and drive. And I've come a long way through this program. It's my 3rd year now, and I'm just out now starting to play. And thanks to him and his coaching and his diligence, he was definitely there for me when I got that hit. So it feels great. I honestly can't describe it.
I mean, he is Rice baseball when you think about it. When you hear Rice, you think of Wayne Graham, and to get to 1,000 wins, that's pretty incredible. I mean, you have to be one, you have to be a good coach, and you have to stay at a university for a long time, and that just says a lot about him as a coach. And I mean, he's just a great guy and a great coach and a great human being, so hats off to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention behind home plate for a special presentation commemorating another milestone in the illustrious career of Rice Howell head coach, Wayne Graham.
It was inevitable if he just stayed in the profession long enough that he was going to get it, because he's the finest coach I've ever played for, and obviously done a lot for me and a lot of other guys, just helping us in our career and in life. So it's very pleasing. I know it's satisfying for Coach. 1,000 wins, that's a lot of wins.
Yeah, it's exciting. You spend a couple of years with somebody every single day, and you just grow a close relationship with them where you want to see them achieve all of their goals. And to see him get this is very rewarding and exciting for him. It's well deserved with just what he's done, I think, in each of our lives, from a baseball standpoint and from a personal standpoint.
I think it means a lot to him. I know he's been at this for a long time, and he's obviously put up championship teams over a very long time, 20 plus years, and it just goes to show he's willing to win at all costs, and he's just a great leader.
It's difficult to honor Coach Graham in an appropriate manner for everything he's meant to this program and to Rice University as an entirety, and you can argue to the city of Houston. And it's a pleasure to be a part of it. It's a pleasure to have played with him. It's a pleasure to work alongside of him, and we're incredibly proud of him, and we hope that he knows that.
Our Rice Howell's head coach, Wayne Graham.
Coach Graham isn't the only one making history at Rice. Owls basketball star Jessica Kuster recently broke a Rice record that had stood for more than 30 years.
The Rice Owls return home for the first time in over a week. They take on the Tulane Green Wave in Conference USA action, but there is more on the line than just a W. A 32-year scoring record by Pat Krieger set back in 1982 is on the line for Jessica Kuster to break. She needs just 14 points to supplant herself as the best player in Rice University history.
To attack. She puts up the three and drains it, and in one fell swoop breaks the record set by Pat Krieger 32 years ago. She shoots her way into the record books. Jessica Kuster, the all-time leading scorer in Rice University women's basketball history. She's beat it by one.
Jess is special. We always knew that she was special. She's always been somewhat of a gifted child, and succeeded at most things and stuck with most things that she did. And this is in keeping with her character. We're thrilled to death about it.
Every player we bring in here, we think, hey, she's going to really be a good player for us. And the Jesses are very rare, obviously. I'm very happy that she came here, and she's left a legacy and a mark on the basketball program that will always be remembered.
I just feel so blessed to have the physical abilities to do something like that, and to have gotten the opportunity to just come to a school like this. I think it's one of those things that I'm going to appreciate more down the road, and even once the season's over, that'll definitely help. But I know it's cool. I know it's cool, basically.
Who knew concrete could be permeable, filtering rain into the soil instead of our lakes and streams? Or that a mathematical equation could open our ears to music we've never heard? Or that a happy home could cost less than a family car? Who knew we could build an elevator to space? Rice, unconventional wisdom.
Rice students have been playing a part in American history for more than 100 years. One student, Noel Parrish, graduated from Rice in 1928 and came back 4 decades later to obtain his master's in 1966 and PhD in 1968. But it's what he did between those years that should be considered unconventional history. This is his story.
When the program started at Tuskegee Army Airfield and at Moton Field for the blacks flying during World War II, the program was an experiment meant to fail.
The assessment of the Tuskegee Airmen, you know, the 1925 Air War College study said that blacks could not handle aircraft, particularly in combat situations.
The implications of what took place here have to be looked at in the context of time.
Everything revolved around segregation.
The initial commander at Tuskegee Army Airfield was there, and there were very unfair practices going on base. The recreation center that everybody else used was not allowed to be used by the folks who were in the program. They were treated as second-class citizens even though they were in the military. When Noel Parrish took over as the commander, Noel Parrish abolished all those practices.
Segregation was still part of Tuskegee Army Airfield. But once he took over, he removed most of those barriers. In fact, I don't think any officers, white officers, were in the club because the black officers were accepted in the club. And so the white officers, I don't believe they even joined the club anymore for that reason.
The airmen speak in glowing terms when they talk about Noel Parrish. Some would tear up because Noel Parrish gave them the opportunity to prove themselves in the aviation program. Noel Parrish gave them the respect that was not the norm at that time.
This story is a relatively unknown Rice story. Noel Parrish came to Rice in 1924 as a freshman. He had been born in Kentucky in 1909. He was 15 years old when he got here. He graduated from high school in Alabama, Coleman County High School, so he was no stranger to segregation. He came to Rice in 1924, and his family moved here to Houston because his father was a minister in the Disciples of Christ and had been called to a church here in Houston. The Parrish graduated in 1928, couldn't immediately find a job, and found himself enlisted in the Army.
If you were an officer in the Army in World War II, what you wanted to do was see combat. That was the secret to rising in the military. And instead of that, they gave him what must have been the least desirable appointment in the Army Air Force. They sent him inside the United States to train a bunch of African Americans, which nobody else cared about. It was probably the worst possible assignment an Army Air Force officer could have got. He made something of that, and as I say, earned his place in history.
Parrish came back to Rice after he retired as a brigadier general to get his master's degree and PhD in modern American history here. He graduated with that PhD in 1968, exactly 40 years after he graduated with his bachelor's degree. and with a record of amazing accomplishment in between.
I can't exactly remember when General Parrish came to Rice. It was sometime in the 60s. I was a young professor. Well, I was in my 20s, and he looked like he was a fossil to me, though in fact he was in probably in his mid-50s. And he took the course. At that time, if you were a graduate student, you took some undergraduate courses, and there he was. I soon found out he was a general, and he's there with me and a bunch of 20-year-olds. And it worked great. The kids loved him. I had a great respect for him. We all called him General Parrish. I think he enjoyed that. So my recollections of him are vivid, really. All these years I remember him. Of course, anybody's going to remember a brigadier general who takes your class, but I remember him mainly because of his wry sense of humor and his general humanity.
He is regarded as someone who allowed the experiment to succeed based on its own merit and not fail because of outside pressures. That is the significance of what he did. He was so important to the Tuskegee Airmen in that, based on everything he had come up with in life, he wanted Americans to fight for America during the war.
I feel that these men knew that we were being trained to go over and fight, and we were fighting for our country. Our country. That was very, very important. The Tuskegee Airmen, beyond the shadow of a doubt, proved that they had the capabilities to do what many said we couldn't do.
He was given this opportunity. He took the initiative to do what was right for the nation. And because of that, the program was a success. The result now is that the highest award that a member of Tuskegee Airmen Incorporated can receive is the Noel Parrish Award. One award is given each year to an individual within the organization who is being recognized for their outstanding contribution and leadership toward preserving the heritage and legacy of the documented original Tuskegee Airmen. All that was started by a Rice graduate named Noel Parrish.
Thanks for joining us on Inside Rice University. To learn more about Rice, visit rice.edu. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the latest things happening at Rice. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.